So proteins. We've talked in our macromolecules, we talked about carbohydrates, we talked about lipids, we talked about nucleic acids. Now we talk about proteins. Proteins are all about the getting everything done. The other macromolecules generally have one, maybe two functions. This one is the one that does all the rest. Now, a protein is a polymer made up of amino acids. So amino acids are the monomer, and then proteins are the polymer. You stick together a bunch of amino acids, you get a protein. Now, some proteins form important cellular structures, like microtubules and things like that. Some proteins transmit substances in and out of cells. Some proteins are the ones that make up your muscles. Some proteins are enzymes. Some proteins are messengers. They do 9 different jobs in the body. Now, the thing about protein has to do with its structure. Now, over here on the left, you see this nitrogen and 2 hydrogens. That is an amine group. A-M-I-N-E, amine. Now, it's not a nice group, it's a mean group. I realize that's a stupid biology joke, but you got to tell the stupid biology jokes. All right, all amino acids have an amine group on one end. That's why they're called amino acids. On the other end, they have a carboxyl group. Now, the thing is that when the amino acids line up in a train, the amine group of one amino acid unites with the bonds to the carboxyl group of the amino acid in front of it, and they form a train. You can keep on forming this train because amino acids are like sandwiches. With a sandwich, you got a piece of bread, you got a piece of bread. Whatever you put in the middle, it's still called a sandwich. If you put salami in the middle, it's a salami sandwich. If you put ham in the middle, it's a ham sandwich. If you put egg salad in the middle, it's an egg salad sandwich. If you put tomato in the middle, it's a tomato sandwich. Of course, tomato, you got to have some mayonnaise. It's got to be a new fresh tomato. That's good stuff. All right, so it's like a sandwich because what goes in the middle, well, there are over 20 different amino acids that the human body uses when building proteins. They all have somewhat different atoms in the center of them, but they have an amine group on one end and a carboxyl group on the other. And the thing is, your body it strings together all of these different amino acids in different orders to make different proteins. So it's kind of like when we looked at DNA, we talked about how there were only 4 letters, the G and the C and the A and the T, and that your body uses those 4 letters in a code in different orders in order to give the instructions for your whole body being made. Well, proteins have more like 20 different letters, and they use those 20 different letters to make all the different words of the code that tell that protein what it's supposed to do. So proteins are incredibly versatile, able to do so many different things based on what different amino acids are a part of that protein and in what order those amino acids come. They cause the protein to be formed into a particular shape that allows it to do the job that it needs to do. So that's proteins for you. Now, there is a specific kind of protein that we call an enzyme. Enzymes work to speed up the rate of a reaction by lowering its activation energy. Now, what an enzyme does, like I said, it modifies the reaction to speed up the rate by lowering the activation energy. And so in order to understand this, you got to understand a little bit about how chemical reactions work. So here I have a picture of a chemical reaction. We start out with the reactants over here. We end with the products over here. Now, for every chemical reaction, there is an activation energy you have to get through to get the reaction started. It's very much like when you have to push a car and you start pushing and it's really hard, but as it starts rolling and the wheels start turning, it gets easier and easier to push the car. It's like riding a bicycle uphill, that you start out pumping hard on the pedals, but as you get more momentum going, that pumping on the pedals gets easier. That inertia, that stop has to be overcome to go forward. In the same way, the activation energy has to be raised up in order to get the reaction started, and then it keeps on going from there.